Farrell, and of course, I'm not the pastor of Grace Baptist Church. This good-looking guy here, his name is Rodolfo Kalayan, senior pastor, and I'm here working under him, and we're producing this program, and we want to be a blessing to you, those of you that, especially if you're on lockdown, we would like to encourage you with this new talk show, Pastor.
Yeah. Well, we're here again to discuss the crisis that has hit our country. I know that most of our people are locked down and cannot go anywhere, so we decided to have a program so that you guys can watch and maybe learn a few things from the Bible and from history. Of course, with me is Dr. Farrell, and he will discuss later on about the history of this crisis that we're going through.
I think tomorrow we're going to actually talk about the present situation, and then we'll get into some prophecy on our 4th and 5th program. And so if you like this program, you can write in to us. You'll see our webpage. Pastor will tell you about our location, about our Christian school. We even have a Bible college. If you're looking for a Bible college to give you a degree in education or in ministry recognized by CHED, we would welcome you to inquire about that. Now, this situation that's happening, again, yesterday we talked about this. The only thing that men learn from history is that men never learn from history. And we know that there is a movement today, we know this, that wants to have a global type government. Men are working towards this, the Bill Gates of the world. It's an insidious, sinister plot that's working towards a one world government, which I think will come as a result of the Antichrist coming into play. I hate to say this, but I feel like China, of course, is now emerging as a superpower, and the only way for Europe to compete is they're going to have to unify. They're going to have to. Now, number one, we see that practically, but we now even see it in the Word of God. We'll talk about that in a few programs. Now go back, Pastor, and those of you watching, go back in your mind. Do you remember what happened in the 1930s? In the 1930s, Germany was hurting economically. They were kind of shamed, disgraced, and a man was appointed like co-chancellor, like the Secretary of the State, and yet he was so popular, his name was Adolf Hitler. And Adolf Hitler, then basically, the Nazi Party became so strong, he took over the leadership in Germany. He was not first initially elected, right? And so the Nazis take over. But the Germans were okay with it because they were working. Jobs were increasing, things were going good. In fact, I think it was in 1933, Time Magazine elected him Man of the Year. And it was an amazing thing. And then, of course, 1936, 1937, the Jews are part of the problem of the world. And some of the Jews began to leave. But then he began to exterminate the Jews, 1938, 1939, 1940, 1941, 42, and the Germans did nothing. In fact, they just did this. And they just covered their eyes and did nothing. And of course, by the time the World War II was over, Germany was done, 1945, then the German people then looks back and they see where they've been deceived. And here's what Hitler said. Hitler said, if you tell a big lie loud enough and long enough, people will believe. And that's a quote from Mr. Hitler. Now, the Bolsheviks did the same thing in Russia. The Bolsheviks under Vladimir Lenin took over in 1917, and they weren't elected. It was a riot, it was a revolution, they just took over. The poor Russian people were subjugated, but they believed because they're for the common man. And then, of course, the Soviet Union went through oppression all through the 50s, the 60s under Stalin, and then, of course, Khrushchev, and all into the 80s until finally, garbage mouth, Gorbachev, finally had to let go of some of the nations. Now, let me make this comment. The same thing has happened in America. Abraham Lincoln said the schoolroom of today is the government of tomorrow. And what we've seen in America is we've seen the divorce from God. No Ten Commandments, no prayer, and then Roe v. Wade in 73. And America has been on a downward slide since 1963. It actually happened sooner, but especially in 63. We turned a corner. And basically we said to God, we don't need you. We don't want you. And so what's happened now, what we're seeing is that the Americans have believed this lie. And that's why they're so easily led. Now we come to the coronavirus. We got a virus going on.
Right.
It's nothing new. We've had all kinds of viruses. The only thing that makes this different is, was it produced in a laboratory? And was it on purpose? And what do you believe about that?
Well, there has been people who's been saying that it was produced in a laboratory in China, actually in Wuhan. And they have all the paperwork to prove it, that it was manufactured. But I think right now they've been investigating if this is true.
What about the World Health Organization? Should they blow the whistle on China?
Yeah, for some reason they have been very quiet, and they seem to be in agreement with China. And so that makes you wonder why they have been so quiet about this.
Well, what would be the motivation? I mean, what's behind, of course, who in their right mind trust a communist from China, right? I don't trust them as a red-blooded American, and I don't think Filipinos should trust them either.
Right, we don't trust the communists because they destroy our country, they fight our government, so it's really not something that we would like to be friends with, you know.
So would you agree that China wants to take over the world?
Yes, I agree, and I think they have said that this is their goal. Their goal is to get ahead of the United States by any means that they can, they can take advantage of it. Whatever means just to get ahead, they'll try to get
So
ahead.
they cannot, so in other words, this virus could have been perpetrated on other nations to weaken our economies, to cause havoc in our cultures, our society, right?
Right.
And then China gets the upper hand.
Exactly.
I believe China's behind this. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, I think it factors in, we'll talk about this in a few programs, I think it's going to factor into prophecy. I really do. I see it. And I am not the kind of guy, and you're not either, I'm not the kind of guy that always wants to blow the whistle and be a doomsday. I don't necessarily think that COVID-19 is the end of the world. But I do think it's another step into this abyss of a world government. And of course, you and I, we believe that there's going to be a tremendous evacuation of God's people called the rapture.
Exactly.
And we won't be here when the tribulation starts.
Right.
But we might be here for some trouble and persecution.
Before the rapture takes place.
You know, Pastor, the thing that concerns me, and again, in Germany, listen to this. In Germany, you know who was against Dietrich Bonhoeffer and Richard von Brandt and various pastors, other pastors? You know one thing I've noticed in church history, you've got Christians against Christians. You've got Christians, like for instance, Hitler said, God is for Germany, Germany is for God, therefore if you're not loyal to Germany, you're not loyal to God. That's made up Hitler. And now you've got Christians saying that if you're not loyal to the government, and if you go to church and disobey this rule to have worship, public worship, then you're disobeying the government, which is, you're not a good Christian. And now we've got Christians in the Philippines and America that are fighting each other over this coronavirus, which is ever the case in church history. We've seen it every time where, and by the way, can I say this? I'm not saying if you stay home that you're not a Christian, but to attack other Christians because they want to serve God and to assume that they don't wash their hands or that they don't practice social distancing as if that is the big cure. How it is. I think that's a judgmental position to take.
I agree. I think that we should, well, first of all, we should try to worship God as much as we can. Right. And again, we said in the last program that if people are sick, they should stay home. and so that others will get infected. But it seems that this virus is unlike the other virus that we've had. It's been looked upon as somewhat deadly. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do believe that the flu is deadly. One doctor came out, he's a noted authority in America. He said we're making a mistake by having this lockdown. He said you need to allow people to build immunity against this.
Right.
If you stay in the house and you do not assimilate this virus, then what's to keep this lockdown from becoming 18 months?
Right.
I mean,
I agree.
we could have another wave of this virus.
Right, and not to mention what it's doing to the economies of the world.
Wow.
Not just the Philippines, not just in America, but in
Of course, you're
other-
criticized if you bring up the economy. If you bring up the economy, it means you don't care about lives. And I think the reason why you bring up the economy is because you do care about lives.
Right. People die because they have nothing to eat in this country and in a lot of places in the world. So I think there should be a balance between trying to get rid of the virus and also trying to make sure that people, after the virus problem is over, that people would have jobs to go back to.
Right.
And I think that is important because a lot of companies right now
They're closing.
are closing because
They cannot make it.
right, they cannot.
And some are closing permanently, not
Yes.
just. So how long will it take the economy of the Philippines to bounce back?
It will be quite a long time, I think, because it's even a long time to get to this point before the virus, and to keep that economy vibrant and going. And this virus is not helping. But you know, I think that if they had allowed some of the businesses to stay open, it may have helped
Yes.
some. But again, there's government control. It's difficult to
Well, one
get.
thing's for sure, Pastor, this is unprecedented.
Exactly.
I mean, you look back 200 years, you never see a reaction by the media, by the government, this type of crackdown. And again, to me, it's suspicious. I mean, it's almost martial law based on this. And so those of you, of course, watching this, and some people may be discouraged. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. One of the reasons why Pastor has called the program the Throne of Grace, because the Bible says, let us come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. And so let's say that you are not allowed, or you're convinced you're not allowed to go to church. That's not going to keep you from reading the Bible. That doesn't keep you from praying. It doesn't keep you from making phone calls and encouraging other Christians.
Right.
Maybe taking this program and sharing the program on your Facebook page and so on. But the throne of grace, notice, throne of grace. In other words, God is sovereign. He's the boss. He's over this. And I think the Bible teaches that we ought to fear God.
Right. And not the virus.
And not the virus. Fear God. Trust the Lord. The other thing is grace, that you can obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. So it could be that you need a friend. Grace Baptist Church, we'd like to be the kind of church that doesn't matter how large we are, we care about the individual.
Right. Exactly.
And so please get a hold of us somehow through Facebook or through, just call our office, webpage. We would love to be able to help you on that. Pastor, why don't you tell the folks about how to get a hold of us, about our Christian school?
Yes, we have we're still having services in our church. Every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock we have time for Sunday school, and then at 10 we have service. And then in the afternoon at 1:30 we come back. Actually, some of our people, we just eat our lunch here. So if you want to join us, you're welcome to do that. But we do have a prayer meeting on Wednesday, and we set it at 4 o'clock. And 4 o'clock so that everybody can go back to their homes. But most of the people who come are the ones who live very close to the church. And so if you're one of those, we'd like to see you come to church. And I promise you, we try to keep social distancing, and we use a lot of alcohol and all that. So we'd like to make sure that you see us tomorrow. Pastor Rudy and Profero, thank you so much.